Now, my problem with Obi is that when he was governor in Anambra State, I mean, he and I had a very testy relationship, and I wrote quite a bit about him. I faulted Obi for a certain cult of personality. Okay, that Obi is extremely self-referential, and it's not a good thing in a leader. A leader should be able to identify men and women who have gifts that he's then going to delegate uh, challenges to. Okay, when a leader presumes to know everything, that's actually a weakness. That's one. Obi also tends to overpromise, and Obi tends to so Nigeria's problems are so deep and so fundamental and vast. So when you begin to give the impression that if you are made president, you'll solve everything, then I would say pause for a minute. Okay, you cannot solve everything. Nigeria doesn't have the money. I don't think the international community has the stomach to lend us the money. So it's going to be a lot of doing. Maybe if he became president, he would take the first 1 year trying to just stop the bleed. Okay, because somebody who is a military officer in Nigeria told me that about 75% of the country's oil exploration is stolen. So by private individuals. Again, that's not a country. That's part of why I say we don't rush into an election. When if a country, if even if people were able to steal 1% of Nigeria's oil production, that's a big crisis. But when it is more than half of a country's resources that's stolen, don't pretend we have a country. There's no country there, right? So to get back to Obi, another problem I have with Obi is what I call the self-inflicted hypocritical wound. Okay, when people don't ask you certain things, don't go stating things which may turn out upon scrutiny not to be true. Okay, so famously a few years ago, Big claimed that he owned only one wristwatch, and so Nigerians went out there and found pictures of him wearing several wristwatches. Okay, so such things. Okay, he was a wealthy businessman before he became governor. So it would be fine and expected if he owned several wristwatches. So when you come out and want to create an impression of being ascetic and being self-disciplined and restrained, and you tell a fib, then people will begin to wonder if you're lying to us about owning one wristwatch, what else are you lying to us about? So I would say to him not to hug the microphone so much, not to be there speaking so much, to actually create a network of people who would work for him, begin to appoint advisors in different areas. And some questions that are asked of you say, go to this, my go to man. That's who I have asked to look at the question of how to industrialize Nigeria. Go to this other person, that's who I have asked to begin to think about how to reform the educational sector. Don't be the one doing everything, because when you do it, you overpromise, you get into fibs, into falsehood, you get into unnecessary, unforced errors. And so, but having said all of this, I think that clearly of the three major candidates, Tinubu, Atiku, and Obi, I think that Obi is the most exciting of the three, right? And I think that we see that excitement on the internet. Whether it's going to translate, I was just in London, and I was talking to some Nigerians that who came in from Nigeria for the Kane Prize that I went to hand out to the winner. And so there were a group of young people. In fact, two of them are lecturers who came from Nigeria, and then another person. So we were talking about the phenomenon around Obi, and I was wondering whether there was something real about it or whether it was just an internet phenomenon. And they assured me that a lot of young people are indeed going to get their voters' cards and with the intention of voting for Obi and of defending the vote. So maybe Obi will spring a surprise, perhaps. But in order to do that, he has to defeat the monster of his own flaws, and also the monster of ethnicity and religion and so on.